What's going on, YouTubers, gamers and hobbyists? Told you I'd be doing it. P&Q birthday special. Yes, I know it's not my birthday, but this is a place of great significance to me. This is a part of my childhood. Just a few feet from me, there used to be a tree. It's not there anymore, but it was kind of a place. My mum used to have her initials carved out on that tree by one of her old boyfriends when she was, young. That's the history here. Anyway, I won't go into that. But basically, there's a slope down there out towards the beach. Takes you there, and when we used to come up here, there's a cafeteria over there that sells ice creams. It's open now. There's people there. There's toilets, and we used to come up here and we used to all mill around by the beach. As kids, we used to race on our hairs whilst the adults brought up all the stuff like the blankets and deck chairs and all that stuff. But anyway, yeah, so here we are in a gloriously sunny day. I've got some days off now, hence filming P&Q, and I've got some questions, so that's good. I've got my water, but it is a little windy, I'll give you that. Just checking the camera. It's a little windy. I'm gonna have a bit of water. Because it's quite hot here in the sun. The sun's right on me. I didn't want the sun to be blasting into the camera itself, but I wanted to do it here because I used to come in with my cousins and aunties and uncles, and loads of us used to gather here at this point. And here I am now, doing P&Q for you all. The place is called Seaton Hole, so it's on the Jurassic Coast, just up the road or down the road, whatever way you look at it, from where I live. It's a bike ride away, a short bike ride away if you wanted to cycle. A long walk, short bike ride, very short car journey. Come by car today though, because I just want to get all my gear and my equipment up and running. Anyway, we have questions. This is the P&Q birthday edition 2023, and there's no particular order to these questions because my printer was all packed away, and it took me a while to dig it out, connect it up. I copied the questions off, printed them out, so I haven't really had a chance to look at them, analyse them. I've read them quickly. That was a while ago, so we'll see what happens. So no particular order. The first one comes from Mr. Iddick Beer himself, Necrons Underwater. Hi Nick. It was great catching your live show the other day whilst I was at work. I was actually working, but the trouble is, working from home, they call you, and I got called into a meeting, so I had to go. But I got some great time, and I was able to go back later on and finish watching it, after the fact, which was good. So that was good. That kept me going from my working day. Okay, so we've got a couple of questions from Nick. Okay, the first one, he says, I assume you still don't have a TV, but now that the world is all about streaming services, do you stream anything on your computer, phone, etc.? Yes, I do. I've actually got a screen now, like a big screen. It's not actually TV. It doesn't have TV services coming into the house directly, but you can stream on it. It's a gigantic just monitor basically, but you can plug in a Fire Stick and off you go. So we've got Netflix and Disney Plus and Amazon Prime, whatever it is. I'm not actually up on it all. I get Netflix. I understand how that works, but anything else is kind of a bit beyond me. I'm a bit of a dinosaur when it comes to that. But yes, we do. I do watch stuff on my laptop though. I can get Netflix up on my laptop in bed, which is great, and that's where I catch up on all my series. And I do watch. We both watch a lot of series together, and the occasional movie, which is nice. I suppose, percentage wise, it's probably 60-40 in favour of watching on the big screen, but I do watch a lot on my laptop as well. It's true. I don't really watch anything on my phone other than YouTube, but yeah, okay. Ooh, next question, or comment, top 3 tips for beginner hobbyists. Top 3 tips for beginner hobbyists. One, connect with the vast amount of tools we have these days, particularly in our digital age. YouTube alone, tutorials are almost limitless on things to do with the hobby, painting, building, etc. And you can find all the niche stuff as well. It's all there. You know, sometimes if you have a particularly niche area that you're modeling on, you may have to dig a little, but it'll be there somewhere. So watch as many different platforms and people as you can, I would say. 2, I would say don't get too bogged down by the meta games that people have, particularly in Warhammer. Don't get too bogged down by that, because otherwise it can end up costing you a fortune. Particularly if you are into Warhammer, you know it's always the latest flavour of the month with them, with Games Workshop, and they are all about making money. They are an absolutely fantastic model game company, in my opinion, but they do want your money. So it depends on what your interest is. But don't get too bogged down by the metagame. Don't get too bogged down by people saying, "Oh, these are the best units to have for this army or that army. You must have this." Nah, I wouldn't worry about that. I would worry about what you want, what army you want, what looks good for you, what you feel happiest playing and going to have most fun with. And that leads me nicely onto the tip 3, which is simply have fun with it. Have fun with it and just roll with it. It is so much fun and so therapeutic as well. So do that. Have fun with it. Just have fun with it. So check out all the tutorials. I've got an aeroplane or something going overhead now. Check out all your tutorials. Oh wow, he's flying low. Check out the tutorials. Don't get bogged down by the metagame, and do have fun. That's my 3 top tips anyway. People, you can agree or disagree, as you will. So, great questions. Thank you, Nick. Okay, moving on. Right, Jedi Jim 252 says, a question for your next session, buddy. I always played a lot of games in my youth, and then in brackets, a long time ago in a galaxy far away. Yes, I'm with you there. I fondly remember my first session in the world of RPG, strategic tabletop miniatures gaming. That started me back into the hobby big time. For me, it was my first game of D&D back in the late 70s. Do you recall a similar point in your journey? Yes, well, when I was at school, we had D&D club. I'd heard of Dungeons and Dragons. I'd heard it whispered amongst the the nerdy kids, and I didn't actually know it at the time, but I became one of them. That was me. But I would hear talk of Dungeons and Dragons and playing a game without a board. That's what got me. How do you play a game on a table without a board? And they were using little miniatures. I thought, and they were rolling dice. I thought, how does it work? So I went along. The funny thing is, I went along. They ran it in dinner times in my school. It was in my first year, I believe. Yeah, I think it was my first year at school, or my second year, or a transition between first and second year. It doesn't matter. So 11, 12, maybe 12, 13. But if we say 12 years old, I turned up at the actual classroom that was allotted for it, because it was all on the notice boards and that. Turned up at the classroom, and 2 of my other buddies were there, like giving me the thumbs up, going, yeah, we're all going into this together. And we're all in different groups and that as well. And I'll be honest with you, that first session made no sense to me whatsoever. Everyone's talking about hit points and armor class and saving throws, and I thought, what the hell are you on about? You know, I thought, I have no idea. But for me, that was where I started So you say yours was the late 70s. I suppose mine was the early 80s, so not long after yours, just after yours. That was my RPG thing, because went to a few sessions of D&D school D&D club, and that was my friend turned around and said, I think I'd like to be a dungeon master. And then he got the DMG and said, I'm going to run a game for us. You, me, another friend of ours called, Rob, Chris. He said, I'm going to run a game for us. I want to do it based on these books. And it was the Terry Brooks books, Sword of Shannara, Elfstones and Wishsong. But it was the Sword of Shannara as the main one. He said, I want to run it based on these characters. So it was kind of, characters were created for the story narrative. So we didn't create characters from scratch. We built characters based on the characters from that book. I was Menion Lee. My friend Chris was Shay Omsford. My other friend Rob, he was Flick Omsford. So I was a ranger. Chris was a wizard, or a magic user, as it was called back then. My friend Rob, he was a thief. He might have been I don't know if he was a thief acrobat. That was his favourite class. I don't know, but he was a thief anyway. And from that point onwards, we had more fun than you can imagine, and it went on for years, till long after we left school. Same group of people getting together in one of our houses or flats, moved away from home, and that, but we carried it on. And it was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Then a big long hiatus until I was working in Royal Mail. I got diagnosed with having MS. I got medically retired, kind of railroaded into medical retirement. Really, looking back on it, that's another story, but that's okay. And found myself needing a hobby to take my mind off of things. And I thought, well, I've got an English degree and a media degree, and I thought, maybe I could become an author and do a load of writing, write some books, and I think I could do that. So I started writing a book. It's got to a point that I was finding difficult to imagine. It was a big fight scene in a forest with loads of different characters in the book, and I thought, I can't visualise this, but I tried drawing it out. I thought, yeah, it's not fueling my imagination or my creative juices enough. Well, I know, I'll build a model of it instead. A little diorama, that might help. So I went into town with my wife. My wife had an eye appointment, Specsavers or somewhere. Said, I'll tell you what, I've got this appointment to go to. You want to go to this model shop here, Games Workshop? I'll meet you in an hour or so, or a couple of hours, I think. I went into the model shop. I went into Games Workshop, and the rest is history. Basically said, oh, can I help you? I said, I'm just looking for some trees and some bits and pieces to do a little diorama for. I explained to him the situation. Okay, so he's got me some model trees, citadel trees, like flock and different things. Put that on the table, and he saw me looking at the other miniatures. He said, "Oh, you interested in playing at all?" I said, "Well, no, I'm just admiring the models. Lovely paint jobs. I wish I could do that." He said, "Well, do you want a game? I'll run you through a game." There was no one else in the shop. I thought, well, I've got time. Why not? What can the harm be? It was at a time when Dark Vengeance, the box set, had come out as a starter set. We ran through that game and scenario. I was rolling. He's basically telling me what I needed and when to roll and what I could do with that. And as he was doing that, he was explaining a little bit about the lore and who I was. I think I was playing the Dark Angels, and he was playing the Chaos side. And it ended up me having a challenge. I was challenging the leader of the other army. I forget what was in that set now. And I ended up winning the game. I had such good fun. I immediately sort of said, right, I'm in. I want to be part of this. What do I need? Right, okay. Here's the rule book. Okay, great rule book. And I decided what models you want. I said, well, I like Space Marines. They were good because I was playing Space Marines. They're all different factions. I said, yeah, that's fine. I said, right. So I got the model. I got the rule book and the Space Marines, and then I can just come in and play, whoever with a different army. Yeah. Well, no. He said, you need the codex for your army. I need another rule book then, basically. He said, yeah, it's like kind of like a rule book for your specific army. I said, so let me get this straight. So every army I play, I have to have a little rule book for that. He's like, yeah. Anyway, I come out of that shop barely being able to carry rule books, brushes, glues, paints, flock, models, and a big bag of stuff I'm carrying it with her. I meet up with my wife and she's like, right. See, you've been busy. I explained it all to her. She's like totally cool with it. Yeah, that's fine, and I never looked back. So that's what got me into Warhammer. And then from Warhammer I got into other miniature tabletop games and board games and other nerdy stuff as well, and back into role playing. And yeah, so I'm back, baby. Thank you for that question, Jedi Jim. A great question. Thank you. Well, the next one is from Who Took My Dice. Hey Steve, how's it going? He says, well, happy early birthday, Pete. So you must have put that question to me a long time ago, because it's way after my birthday. That's just, like I say, because of work and the weather, and I've been stupidly busy with work. It's just been ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. I've just not had any time off, so now I have. We're good to go. So questions. What game do you regret missing out on? Video game, tabletop, etc. Game do I regret missing out on? Tabletop war game. The game I regret missing out on was Fantasy, Warhammer Fantasy, because it was kind of becoming defunct as I was getting into. I thought I had plenty of time to get established with 40k, and then from there I'd go on to Fantasy because I like both. And my friend was heavily into Fantasy. He said, well, I want to get into Fantasy. I'll get some Fantasy armies. You do the 40k stuff. One day we can play Fantasy, one day we can play the 40k. I was like, yeah, great. We started collecting. He started doing like Bretonnians and Lizardmen, and I was doing like Space Marines and Tyranids. I thought, well, I'll get a couple armies each. Oh my, it's getting windy. You might hear it. I thought, get a couple armies each, and then we can just meet up and play, and then just expand on it. But they kind of, when they turned Warhammer Fantasy into Warhammer Age of Sigmar, I tried to get into it and I tried to like it. I really wanted to like it, but for me it was just too sort of steampunky for my liking. I don't like it. I just don't. It's not fantasy. So all my Age of Sigmar models, they're great models though. I just like the models for the models, but as far as the game goes, I'm not interested in the game. But I do like the models, and I can use them for some of my RPG stuff, so that's cool. Alright, so he goes on. The most important question that we all want to know are boxes or briefs? Well, that's a question, isn't it? Well, I'm going to have a sip of water before I answer that. Such a big question like that. Depends on the material. I like boxes I like the format of boxes, the looseness, but I also like the microfiber feel of other kind of not briefs. They're almost like they're just like tight shorts, but they're very, very stretchy. With that kind of soft microfiber feel. That's what I like. That's what I like. As I say, or at a pinch, boxes. Thank you. Great questions yet again. All right. Okay, we're going on to Jamjar 34. Hey, bud. Jamjar. He says, happy birthday. Thank you, sir. Questions. What is your favourite paint this month? My favourite paint this month is going to be is it Castellan Green, the one that gets used on my Cadian shock troops, because I'm doing Astra Militarum April, so I'll be doing a lot of that. So that's my favourite colour this month is green, I would have to say. And I'm trying out different paints as well. I am trying out the Duncan Rhodes paint range. I've got a few of his paints now. I'm going to be trying them out. I've tried a few out already. I'm going to use them a bit more before I can give my honest opinions and thoughts on them. And I'll be doing a video of that at some point, so keep your eye out for that. What are you working on at the moment? Right, I've answered that. Astra Militarum. That's what I'm working on right now. Astra Militarum. What's your favourite army lore that you have read? And why is it your favourite? Favourite army lore that I've read? It's got to be about the Dark Angels. Why is it my favourite? Because I kind of relate to, I don't know, they lost their home world, Caliban, and got destroyed, and now it's just reduced to like a giant meteor, basically, or asteroid flying through space. That's all that's left of there, because they put a lot of history behind it. The books I read, starting with the ones from the Horus Heresy right through, I've read a lot of books on them. I feel for them, because they, you know, they're kind of torn in two. Some of them are like the Unforgiven, and you got those loyalist Dark Angels, and you got the heretic Dark Angels, but they're all kind of tarred with the same brush. Nobody trusts them. That's because they got a lot of secrets. And the sun's going behind a cloud. I can see the camera screen again. That's why it's my favourite. And lastly, have a spicy birthday. Oh, I did. I had a very spicy birthday. Do you know what's weird? Nobody's really looking at me like I'm a nutter here. That's odd. Normally when I'm out and about, people look at me with quite a strange looks, but they're not really paying me any attention. Great questions, my friend. Great questions. Look at that backdrop. Look at it. Huh? I'm going down there after this. Alright, Mini Warmat is next. He says, happy birthday! What, 52, right? Yes, 52. Question. How do you celebrate your birthday? I just chill out, have a relaxing day. I don't think about anything work related, even household work. I just don't think about it. I spend a good amount of time with my wife, and then I spend a good amount of time hobbying, you know, on my lonesome in my hobby room. Oh dear, how sad, never mind. Yeah, that's what I do. Any traditional treat, dessert on your birthdays? I don't know, really. I like to get myself a cake these days. Nothing too fancy. Excuse me, gonna cough. I had one of those caterpillar ones last time. One of the big long ones that look like a caterpillar. Yeah, I had one of those, like sponge cake. Do you set any monthly miniature painting goals? Well, I have this month, Astra Militarum April. That's where it is at. So this month is Astra Militarum. I'm hoping to get a squad of shock troops built and painted in the month of April. I'm a little bit behind on that due to not having any free time lately. But, you know, I'm hoping to change that. I'm hoping that in the next few days, I've got a few days off now, I'm hoping to try and catch up a bit with that. So I'm hoping to get that done. Hope you have a productive hobby. So do I. Productive hobby day. Necrons, take care. Yes, because I was showcasing my Necrons, wasn't I? Doing my introduction to Warhammer 40k based on my Necrons. I've got some other questions, but damn, I haven't written down. I've got 3 or more questions. I was talking to my friend who used to come down when I lived in Plymouth. So I talked to him. We video call sometimes. 2 of these are from him. Who's the other one from again? Oh yes, the other one was just from a person, nothing to do with the hobby. Just someone I was talking to, a local resident of the area I live. Yeah. Okay. Right. So questions. We've got 3 more questions. Says, what are your thoughts on 10th edition 40k and the Lion's Return? Well, my thoughts on 40k 10th edition. Yeah, I'm excited for it. I'm excited for new models, etc. And the Lion particularly because I like Dark Angels. If I get him, that will then give me a Primarch for my Dark Angels, and I've already got Guilliman, so I'll have a Primarch for my Ultramarines as well. Yeah, it's a pity I can't get one for my Blood Angels, isn't it? Anyway. What do you watch these days? Movies, series, or nothing now that you have moved to your dream? I watch a few movies. I watch a few series. I've watched more series than I do movies because they're just easier. I'm watching Picard at the moment, and Mandalorian, and Suits right now. That's the 3 kind of main ones I'm watching. Wind is picking up, but those clouds, it's going to blow those clouds right out the water. So no problemo. Don't want my microphone to get blown away. And the last question. This is really cool. Says, now that you've moved, this is from our local resident, I remember now. Now that you've moved then, out to this, what's the best thing about where you live and the worst thing about where you live? Some local wildlife. Right, the best thing about where I live is that I'm so invested in the area. I feel emotionally connected to it because it's where I was born and grew up. Worst thing about where I live, it's probably the same answer. The fact that I'm, emotionally connected to it and I care about it so much because I've only got not that you see much in the way of litter, I think, because the council, East Devon Council, is pretty good at keeping an area nice and tidy. But if I see something, it bugs me to the point where if I did, say, a wrapper or something like that, I would have to go pick it up, put it in the bin because it's ruining my area. Anyway, that's the best thing and the worst thing about where I live. So, and that, my friends, brings me to the end of P&Q, and half an hour. Well, it won't be by the time I've edited out a couple of things, but thank you so much. Look at this. Look at this. Look at it. Look at that. I'm going to take us down there later on, and I might do I can do a video for my other channel, a werewolf in Seaton. So thank you for that. You guys are the best. Please give the video a thumbs up if you like it. That really helps me. Subscribe as well, and click that bell button for notifications on future uploads. All that stuff helps me defeat the YouTube algorithm monsters that plague me on YouTube. So that'd be really cool. If you really want to support my channel and me in a big way, then do consider checking out Patreon. No pressure, but if you do and you decide you want to, you can do so for as little as $1 a month. I think it is. It's really cheap. You will gain access to exclusive videos. Obviously, the more you pay, the more access you will have. You'll have access to more and more variety of videos, behind the scenes, stuff about me, my life, my area, all kinds of good stuff that I just want to share with a select few of really good friends. Anyway, but enough about that. I'm getting a few looks now. That's good. That means I'm doing my job. Anyway, yes. So thanks ever so much. Do remember, all brushes lead to walk. That's kind of my motto. Do consider offering up some of that YouTube goodness for the channel, and I will see you on another video. Bye for now, folks. Bye bye.